focus on our active learning. Create more inclusive student-centered classroom. This topic is closely aligned with Sustainable Development Goal 4, SDG 4. Quality education, which emphasizes inclusivity, equality, and lifelong learning. Throughout this session, our panelists will explore the area of active learning, from its definition of technique to impact and challenge in real teaching environment. Now let's begin our discussion. First, I would like to invite our first panelist, which is Ain Ashiki, who will start by addressing what active learning is and why it's implemented in today's education system.
Good day everyone, I'm the Nurul Ain Ashiki Zaidi. You can call me Ike, panel member 1, and I begin today's discussion by introducing the concept of active learning. Active learning refers to a teaching approach where students are actively involved in the learning process, not just passively receiving information, instead of simply listening to lectures or memorizing facts. Students participate in activities like discussion, problem-solving tasks, role-playing, group work, and case studies. In contrast to traditional teacher-centered methods, active learning places students at the center of the learning experience. Teachers serve more as facilitators, guiding students as they construct their own understanding. According to Bonware and Essen, 1991, active learning is instructional activities involving students in doing things and thinking about what they are doing. This definition emphasizes two components and reflections. Why is active learning important? Research shows that students learn better when they are engaged both mentally and physically. It improves critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and motivation. These are essential skills for the 21st century. Now, if we link this to Sustainable Development Goal 4, quality in education, active learning, support inclusivity by addressing different learning styles and needs, then promote equity by giving every student a voice, and then encourage lifelong learning through the development of independent and reflective learners. To conclude, active learning enhances the quality and inclusiveness of education. It not only improves classroom experience but also aligns with global goals for equitable and lifelong learning opportunities for all. Thank you. Now I pass the discussion for panel member 2.
Next, we have panelist 2, which is Nurizatul, who will be sharing various types of active learning strategies that teachers can apply in the classroom.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nurizatul binti Mamarofi, panel number 2. Today I would like to talk about a very used topic, which is a type of learning strategy. There are different ways or techniques that students use to help the learn better. Student is different and not everyone learn the same way. So by using this right strategy, we can improve how we understand, remember, and use information. First point is cognitive strategy. The first type is called cognitive strategy. This is the most common type. It helps us to process and understand information. For example, taking notes during class, making a mind map, highlighting important points, repeating or summarizing what we read. This strategy is good when we want to remember fact or organize ideal. It makes learning clearer and easy to understand. Second point is metacognitive strategy. The second type is metacognitive strategy. This means thinking about how we learn. It helps us plan, monitor, and check our own learning. For example, planning what subject to study first, asking ourselves to understand this, reflecting after studying did I exceed my goal. This strategy is useful when we want to become independent learning. We take control of our learning process. Third point is social and effective strategy. The third type is social and effective strategy is that involve talking to other people and manage our emotions. For example, study in a group, asking teacher or friends when we do understand, giving ourselves motivation like I can do it, controlling stress or nervousness during exam. This strategy is helpful for students who like learning with others or need emotional support. In conclusion, there are three main types of learning strategy. First, cognitive, to understand and remember. Second, metacognitive, to plan and monitor our learning. Third, social and effective, to learn with others and control emotion. Every student can choose the best strategy for themselves. Some people learn better alone, some with friends, and some by planning carefully. If we know how to use the right strategy, learning becomes easy and more enjoyable. Thank you very much. I hope this sharing is helpful and we can all apply that strategy in our learning.
Thank you, panelist 2, for this practical technique. Now, I'd like to welcome panelist team, which is Christina Idayu, who will explain the benefit of the active learning on student motivation, participation, and learning outcome.
Thank you, moderator, and good day, everyone. I'm Christina Idayu as a panelist 2, and today I will be sharing three key benefits of active learning and how this approach supports effective teaching as well as sustainable development goal for quality education for all. First, increase student engagement. The first major benefit is that active learning boosts student engagement. When students are involved in activities like group discussion, game, or interactive tasks, they are more focused and interested. This active involvement makes learning more fun and meaningful. Instead of just sitting and listening, students become part of the learning process, and that keeps them motivated. For example, in a science class, instead of just reading from the textbook, students can work in small groups to conduct experiments. This keeps them alert and gives them a sense of purpose. Next is improve critical thinking skill. The second benefit is the development of critical thinking. Active learning encourages students to think deeply and solve problems creatively. When students are given open-ended questions or real-life case studies, they are forced to analyze, evaluate, and justify their answer. For example, in subjects like moral education and literature, students can discuss different viewpoints and debate ethical issues. This boosts their reasoning and decision-making skill, not just for exam, but for life. And the last one, support inclusive and equitable learning. Sustainable development goal for this focus. The third benefit, and one that directly relates to sustainable development goal 4, is that active learning promotes inclusive and equitable education. Through varied activities like visual aid, group work, and hands-on learning, teachers can accommodate different learning styles, abilities, and background. For example, a teacher might use role play for visual learners, while also giving writing tasks for those who prefer working independently. This kind of flexibility helps ensure no student is left out, regardless of their learning style or background. In short, active learning helps students become more engaged
Moving on, let's hear from Principal Umaira, who will share how active learning can be implemented across different subject and education level.
Thank you, moderator. Good day, everyone. My name is Myra Benti Zawari, learner number 4. Today, for my part, I will be talking about the implementation of active learning strategies across different subjects and education levels. Active learning strategies can actually be used in almost all subjects and levels to make learning more engaging, inclusive, and student-centered. These strategies encourage students to participate actively in building their own understanding instead of just listening passively. For example, in science, hands-on experiments help students develop practical skills, while group projects encourage teamwork and critical thinking. In mathematics, peer teaching can be used to enhance the understanding because explaining something to others helps you understand it better yourself. In language and literacy, strategies such as role-playing and discussion groups can help students express themselves, develop empathy, and solve problems together. Meanwhile, history lessons can use case studies and reflection tasks. This helps students to apply what they learn to real-world situations and also help teachers understand how students are thinking about the topic. These types of active learning strategies don't just help students remember content better, but they can also build important life skills such as communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. This aligns with SDG4 by promoting inclusive, high-quality education that prepares students for real-life situations and lifelong learning. In terms of education levels, active learning can look different depending on the age group. At the primary level, teachers can use storytelling tours, simple experiments, or group art projects. This creates a fun, safe environment where young learners can explore ideas, express themselves, and stay curious. At the secondary level, we can go deeper with more complex tasks such as project-based learning, classroom debates, and flipped classroom approach, where students review learning materials before class, and then use class time for active discussion and problem solving. This not only increase engagement but also develop independence. At the tertiary level, meaning college or university, active learning becomes even more important. Learners at this stage are preparing for real-world challenge, so the learning method should evolve too. Seminar, skills building workshops, hybrid learning, and experiential learning like internships or real-life projects can help students apply their knowledge in meaningful ways. This kind of learning is no longer about just passing exams, but also about being adaptable, reflective, and ready to contribute to society. Active learning at every education level supports lifelong learning by developing students' ability to think independently, work in teams, and engage with the world around them. It also makes learning more accessible to students with different learning styles and abilities, which supports both inclusivity and equity, two important parts of SDG4. So, to conclude my section, by using active learning strategies thoughtfully across subjects and levels, educators can create more meaningful and effective learning experience. This doesn't just help students learn better, but it also helps us move closer to achieving SDG4 quality education for all.
Thank you, panelist 4. Finally, we have panelist 5, who will talk about the common challenge teachers face when using active learning and some practical solutions.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Hi, I'm Fuad, as panelist number 5. I would like to talk about common challenges in implementation of active learning. Okay, usually there are 5 common challenges. First, limited time, large class size, student reluctance to participate, lack of resources or technology, and classroom management issue. Okay, for the first challenge is limited time. Teachers always feel pressure to cover too much content. So the solution is teacher will use quick strategy like think by share, as etiquette, and also can prioritize that over breadth of content. Teacher also can focus on meaningful learning and just not coverage textbook. For the challenge number 2 is large class size. The problem is teacher hard to engage and manage many students at one time. So the solution is teachers can use tools like Kahoot or Mentimeter for whole class participation. They also can structure group work of assigned roles to rotate participation opportunities to ensure equity. Challenge number 3 is student hesitation. Some students are shy or unfamiliar with active learning, so the teacher must came with solution like start with low pressure activities such as anonymous polls or silent brainstorming. Teacher also can create a supportive and welcoming environment and explain to students why behind active learning is to buy a supportive and welcoming environment. Okay, for the challenge number 4 is lack of resources. Problem like limited access to technology and materials. Teachers must come with solution like use low tech methods such as role playing, peer teachings, or debates. Teacher also must be creative and flexible with existing classroom tools, because with that they can focus on interaction and not equipment. Okay, for the last challenge is classroom management. Increased movement and talking can lead to distraction, so the teacher must set clear rules or routine from the start so that the student can obey the rules. Teacher also must assign roles and responsibility in activities so that it can practice student to procedure or with respectful participation.
Thank you to all our panelists for their excellent contribution. To summarize, we have learned that active learning promotes critical thinking, cooperation, and deep understanding from student center, strategy like problem solving, group discussion, and peer learning. This method not only improve engagement but also support SDG4 by promoting inclusive, equitable, and lifelong learning for all students. Although there are challenges in implementation with the right planning and support, active learning can transform the classroom into a more dynamic and meaningful space for both teacher and student. Thank you for your attention. We hope our